All right, so hey everybody, Erik Olson, CEO from Array Digital, and
Jake Main, Digital Marketing Manager from Array Digital.
all right, so I'm getting ready to explain what I've learned about programmatic ad buying. And so now what we're doing is we're diving a little bit deeper into some other ways of advertising, and it's been kind of a mystery to us. So what I want to do is just kind of explain like what I've learned in the last couple of days just by deep diving, all right? So look, in the very beginning, all right, there was a newspaper, say, right? And so you had a person at the newspaper that was selling a spot, right? And in order to get that spot, to get your ad into that spot, you had a buyer over here and you had lots of different buyers that had to call or send in a letter or something to try to get that one spot, right? So back in the day, these spots were sold with humans, right? Trying to get that spot. Now, there's a lot of different sellers over here, right? And these are buyers. And so over time, as there were more and more sellers, this became problematic, right? Because you have all these people that are trying to place ads very inefficiently, right? One at a time. And so the first thing that so we're kind of doing like a history lesson here. And the first thing that it appears like what happened was an ad network was formed, right? So these sellers consolidated together to form an ad network.
And all of these sellers are at different news
Yeah, these are all different sellers, right?
stations or sellers from the same station?
Probably multiple, like people at like different sellers at a particular organization and multiple organizations in particular. But someone at some point said, you know what? It'd be more efficient if there was an ad network. So when you hear ad network, it's about sellers, okay? And then these buyers could just go to the ad network instead, right? So, and then they could see like this catalog of ads they could buy from and just pick from the catalog. It was more efficient because it was one to many, right? Versus one to one at scale. So then what happened, and again, this is kind of a history lesson and we're trying to figure out if this is true or not. So I may be a little bit off, but what happened was these buyers, like consolidating these buyers was the next step. And so you have a consolidation of buyers and sellers, and they created an ad exchange, right? So the ad exchange brought them all together. And so now you've got lots of buyers, lots of sellers, and an ad exchange where they could say, I want an ad in the newspaper or TV or radio. And someone would match it up with one of these ads, right? And the exchange happened. And so it was no longer person to person, but people were still doing it. So it was inefficient. So you've got an ad exchange, you've got ad network and ad exchange, but now introduce the internet and things are starting to really scale quite a bit, right? So at some point they introduced, someone, I don't know who yet, introduced the concept of demand side and supply side and platforms. So the ad inventory is supply, right? So this is your supply of ads, right? And then over here is demand for ads, right? Inventory, where you can place the ad is the supply, and then the advertisers like us, we have a demand for that stuff. And they introduced software called DSP and SSP. The software is supply side platform, demand side platform. And what happens is, as an advertiser, we put in an order that says something like, I want people in the Orlando market that are of this age that have gone to our website before. You put in all those parameters like we do right now with like Google and Facebook, but you put it into here. And what happens is when supply, oh, and then by the way, let me back up a step. On the supply side, the suppliers, the people that have like the newspapers and the radio, anything that supports programmatic, in particular the internet, they will say, I've got an ad right here that is within this geographic region and it targets people of this demographic, right? It will provide the information about the ad, but also about the user. So it could also say, not only it's in Orlando and it's this age group, but this particular person is this age or roughly this age, right? And this particular person has been to your website. So these two are a match. What we want to order, which is the demand, matches the supply. So what happens is in real time, as the person brings up the web page, this information goes into the exchange, and we've already placed an order on the demand side, and the demand side says, oh, I can buy that, and there's an auction that happens in real time. Everyone's auctioning, and somehow it figures out who wins. And when it wins, let's say this, I know this is getting messy. Let's say this ad wins, it's the one that shows up here, right?
Gotcha.
So very messy, but that's kind of the gist of it. You've got sellers of ad inventory and supply. You've got the buyers and the demand. Hey, we're filming, dude. You've got the buyers like us, advertisers, that have demand, supply side, demand side, and exchange that makes it happen in real time, right? So that's what I understand about programmatic at this point. There's a lot more details. There's a lot of like, oh, by the way, for every ad exchange, like I drew one, there's other ones. There's like the Google display network.
Okay. Yeah.
Now in Google, they control both sides. It's all Google,
okay.
Right? There's private exchanges, right?
Which is Google. Is a private
There would be a
exchange.
private exchange, yeah, but there could be other ones where it's like only these like premium magazines and these premium agencies they're the only ones that can participate.
Okay. So you wouldn't technically call those private ad exchanges programmatic because...
No, you would. So let's say there's 100 magazines, or really a better example is 100 magazine websites, premium magazines, right? And there's 100 agencies that are, maybe 1,000 agencies that are trying to get an ad into those 100 premium magazine website ad spots at the same time. You can do programmatic. So this could be private, right? Or it could be like Google display network, or it could be another public one, because whoever set this up, they had competition. So there's another ad exchange.
Right. So these are all ad exchanges that have supply side and demand side, and they're just, the programmatic aspect is that it's just choosing the best bid and
Right.
displaying the ad based on who has provided that best bid.
That's right. And you could have a whole bunch of different ad networks, but what's killer about DSPs is it can connect to whatever exchanges you want. And same with these SSPs, the supply side platforms, they can connect with multiple exchanges at once. Even Google in some cases. So you've got like just a tremendous like quantities of variations that can happen as far as the supply side and the demand side, and that's where these DSPs and these SSPs come in. For us, as advertisers, as marketers, we're gonna be focused with DSPs.
Right.
All right.
Awesome.
Make sense?
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude. There's a lot of details, man. All right. Hope that was helpful.